You're listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Welcome everyone to the Cult of Campbell. I'm Ty.
I'm Eric.
I'm Bailey.
And today we're looking at the coming-of-age drama, Bruce's second motion picture.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Second.
His second feature-length movie.
No, Tyler told me it was a really early Bruce Campbell movie, and you can tell that from just from watching it. But I didn't know it was his second. Good job. Okay.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only his second feature. This came out, what year did it come out?
It was 84.
84. And this is young Bruce.
Yeah.
He looks really young.
So, but then it also came out in 2006 because there was like massive distribution problems, I guess.
What?
Right.
Yeah.
Vestron Video went bankrupt. Vestron was like a big distributor for like...
went bankrupt, and so the movie rights got sold off, and it just became this big backlog mess.
Oh my God. So it originally came out in 84.
Uh-huh.
And then because of distribution issues, it came out again in 2006. So you're telling me like there's a gap of like 20 plus years.
Well, I'm not sure how long it ran the first time.
Well, I know it was really rare for a long time in 2006.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like in 2006, it was super rare.
Yeah. Like even diehard Bruce fans like couldn't find it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And this Ron Teachwood guy, the director
And writer. This was his only movie that I could find. This guy, I think if I'm remembering right, this is kind of cool. He's an artist. Like that's what he is. Like he went to went to school for like art and education or something. I think he basically more or less just got a grant to make a movie either in college or from college, and then made this. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, because when I tried to look into this guy, I just found a bunch of stuff about his art, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
But and
he seems like pretty prominent. Like what, Michigan University?
I think that's it.
Like.
And that would make sense why why Clee was wearing a Michigan shirt throughout.
Oh,
the first bit of it.
Even why Bruce. Bruce is a big. That's where Raimi's and Bruce are from, Michigan.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're very, very proud of that state. Like that's where Evil Dead takes place and stuff is in Michigan. So
nice.
Yeah. Did these guys know each other? The Ron and Bruce?
That's something I don't know either. I couldn't find that out.
I couldn't verify
like a casting thing or what.
Like maybe they at least knew each other through school or something. Maybe I don't know. Did
It's
Bruce go
possible.
to college?
I don't know if he did. I think he right out of high school, Evil Dead, and then he was kind of in the movie business from then on. Now this other guy, who's the co-star Clee?
Clee. Yeah, he's oh shoot, where'd his name go? Here we go. Christopher Howe.
Now has he done it? Because I think his like name was even like not even linkable.
Yeah, he doesn't have like links on. But okay, looks like a couple other movies. There's a it's called Hefties, which was 83.
Okay.
Which I think the cinematographer also has a credit on as a cinematographer for that movie. Scrolling around a little too much. I'll find him. I swear. I'm not terrible with technology. But I don't think John Howe's this Howe guy has done anything since Christopher Howe.
It doesn't seem like it.
No.
Now, this 2006 DVD release, I'm like interested in. I don't think I like the movie enough to go and buy it, but like it has a commentary track with Bruce and Ron Teachwood.
Yeah,
and the cinematographer. And I bet that'd be really interesting to hear.
I would really like to hear it because I think that's part of how they kind of got the movie re-released. It was like part of the deal. Like they got together and recorded it.
That would make sense.
Pot. John Prusak is the cinematographer. Sorry, I finally found it. But yeah. I think because Bruce, I read something about him traveling back to Michigan to do the commentary with, the director and stuff like that.
It seemed like this was this is really early Bruce.
Oh yeah,
and it really shows too. I mean, I thought this was a lot earlier than it was. I thought this was pre-Evil Dead.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
I thought just because he looks so fucking young in it.
Yeah.
I was shocked to find this is actually after Evil Dead.
Right. Although,
but
yeah, he didn't have the. Boy, in Evil Dead, he had that unibrow.
He didn't have any of that. He did. He at least took care of that. That's good.
That makeup.
At least got all that phase of his life.
The makeup artist came up to him with some tweezers and said, "Sit back."
Oh, honey, no.
That's awesome.
Now, from what I understand, this movie is basically like autobiographical, right? For Ron Teachwood,
I think. Yeah, what I had read was that a lot of the stories and stuff that they talk about in the dialogue was like stuff that he really experienced. So I think overall, I don't know if I couldn't find anything to verify that they actually went on this, like he actually did a road trip. I don't know.
Do we know the budget?
Like that?
No, I mean, it seemed like he did. Do we know the budget of this? I'm very interested.
Let me see.
This had to be super low budget, right? I mean,
oh yeah, it's an indie film for sure. Like,
right.
This was basically,
and there's only like 5 characters. Like, even listen, even on Wiki.
Oh, let me get through them actually real quick. We had Bruce Campbell and Christopher Howe. We talked about Perry Mallett, which was Jack, the old man. I don't think he's done anything else.
No, he seemed like one of those like.
He's got a couple.
He's done so? Okay.
Like in 80 up to 85 is what I'm finding. So not much longer. Yeah, and nothing we recognize.
He wasn't too bad, honestly. I thought he was I thought he was like one of those local actors they found. Like just like
yeah.
I kind of wonder if that was something, if he was like a local like stage act kind of.
I really liked him.
I want to see if we can find the budget for
since the computer interrupted us.
Let's see here. Yeah, whenever you look at going back 1984, it just brings it Back to the Future shit.
Oh!
Came out the same year. I'm not really seeing anything.
Was there anything on the Wikipedia?
No,
the budget was $5.
I mean, I wouldn't think it'd be much higher than that.
Oh yeah,
low budget.
Oh yeah.
From what I understand too, they shot this. It looks like they moved locations at some point. It's mostly filmed in Michigan, but there's portions of it filmed in Tennessee. And I don't know. I'm kind of wondering if maybe it was like I don't know where that would be in Tennessee. Like where like the location never drastically changes. It's just backcountry.
It's just
and fields
and woods. That's about it.
And that one town they go to, the one town they stop in to watch the movie randomly.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about going back here in our next segment.
All right.
Let's get groovy.
Grab your boomstick and fire up the Delta. It's time for ACTION. Join the cult of Campbell. Groovy.
And if you're lucky a little later, I'll let you play with my boomstick.
So we're gonna start with first memories. I'll go first.
All right.
Literally 2 hours ago. I'm not kidding, guys. So I love to come in with these movies with like a very fresh concept. So a lot of the time that's why I will wait until like right before the recording to watch the movie. Unless it's one that I've seen multiple times before, then I'll take notes and, do all that. But a lot of the time that's why I it's part procrastination, part I want to be fresh for it. So we'll just call it that. But yeah, it was this morning. I very much enjoyed it. It was a nice little movie to, get up and, drink your coffee to and just, sit and have a goody old time. It's really cool. I really like it. It was just a very it kind of gives you like a home sweet home feeling, just a very sweet, campy kind of feeling. But yeah, those are my first memories of it. I'm very fresh off the boat with that one.
Yep.
Eric, what about you?
Okay, so I'm also pretty fresh. I watched it last night just after having some car trouble myself, to be honest. So #relatable there. So yeah, no, I just got to kind of watch it with a friend of mine, and we talked a little bit about it, and then I eventually spiraled into like an existential crisis, from this movie because it's a very nostalgic movie, and then went to bed and woke up and felt a little bit better about life. So yeah, this movie gave me a little bit of a roller coaster.
Was it a real friend or was it an imaginary friend?
Oh well,
did we find out after the existential crisis if you me. Just okay?
I was my friend.
Oh no.
Ty, how about you?
I watched this movie yesterday. It took me a little bit to I watched a little bit the day before, didn't finish it, and then I watched it the next morning, yesterday morning, and I finished it. And yeah, I mean, it was an interesting movie. I definitely feel like it had a lot to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it does. We'll talk more about it when we start to review it. But I mean, it does. I don't know. It's a weird movie. I did think it was a very sweet movie.
It is cute.
it was definitely an indie movie. Like this is
Yes.
an indie. This is like one of those like early 20s. Like I want to make a movies. Like
Yes.
you know,
Right.
I've got a lot to
Absolutely.
say, and I want to put it on screen. That's what it felt like. This is what I feel like should have been a first. This is definitely a first movie for this guy. I mean, only movie apparently.
Yep.
But this
Yeah.
this is one of those like first
it
indie
shows,
movies where where you have a lot to say and you want to make this like youthful like kind of time capsule of your youth. And I don't know. It was interesting. It just was very much an indie film. You know, I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting to really see a true indie film out of Bruce when we started the show. So
Right.
it's just interesting. This should have been like felt like it would have been Bruce's first role, you know?
Yeah.
To go from Evil Dead to this.
Yeah.
With the exception of, I think his acting had already started to show some improvement between the
Oh,
two
yeah.
movies. So
For
that's
sure.
that. But as far as like,
I think it was just that unibrow holding him back.
He
Yeah.
finally got the weight off of his forehead.
Yeah, he got that off and it, like opened up and freed
yeah.
up his let the creative juices flow after the thing was gone.
but I kind of know what you mean. Like, Evil Dead looks like more money went into it than this movie does. Does that make sense? Like,
I mean-
it looks a little more, even though it wasn't. Like, it was chaos in the woods in a cabin where they had to like poop in a bucket and crap like that. But like, you know, the effort that went into it was much more. It felt more like a studio effects scene. It didn't feel like an indie movie like this one does.
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean?
This felt like this was like
Yeah.
a true indie
Mhm.
film. Like this
Right.
is you make a movie with your your buddies
with
and
your
like,
buddies and
Mhm. And you use your neighbor's backyard.
You
Right.
use your
yeah.
neighbor's backyard.
Yeah.
You use your neighbors to be in it. Like it just felt like that.
no,
Like,
you're
it-
right. This is a very like accessible kind of movie to make. Like you
Right.
could look at this and say, I could actually make this movie, and that's
right. Yeah.
you know
yeah,
what I mean.
You do. It's like oh, I could make this in a couple weekends. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah, exactly. I just need a rig to hook it up to the car window every now and again to film their dialogue
Hell
scenes.
yeah.
No,
in
we
the
don't.
thing.
We have Ursa
Oh,
hanging
yeah.
out the trunk of a car. That's how we
Yeah.
do that bullshit. I've got photographs, and I think that's how the movie like feels like so relatable. Like especially to me, is because like we've made movies like that where it's been like super indie, super low budget. Like we've got $5 today. Let's see where this can go.
Yeah,
And,
that
like,
$5
that's-
is going to lunch.
Yeah, for real. Everyone takes a bite out of the sandwich. But yeah, and like while I was watching it, I was looking at the shots and the shot composition and everything, and I'm like, we could do that. Like that would be cool to do. We have done that.
Yeah,
So
it's a very accessible kind of like.
it seems like the
Looking
cinematographer got like this seems like one of the big things people take away from this movie is the cinematography.
Right.
Yes.
People, it seems like the cinematographer is very like highly like praised in this. Like anytime it gets reviewed.
You're right. I've seen that too. Kind of like the and I've lost his name, but I need to bring it back up because I kind of
He's also on the commentary track. It's him, Bruce,
Oh,
and
cool.
Ron Teachwood.
John Prusek. So
You got
yeah.
anything else?
So as cinematographer, he did Hefties. That's where I saw it. So there was an actor that was also in Hefties, whatever
Okay.
Hefties is. And then Roger and Me, which is a documentary. He was a producer again for Hefties, Product of Society, Walk This Way. He directed Hefties. And he his only acting credit is in Hefties. So Hefties sounds like
Hefty's, hefty
Hefty
project.
sounds like it was to Prusak what Going Back was to Ron Teachworth. This is the movie I'm gonna make, and then I'm gonna do other stuff. I don't know.
So
Yeah.
the movie itself takes place in 1964, if I'm not mistaken, right?
oh,
It's a period piece.
It is. It is
Yeah,
a
so
period
it's-
piece, which is probably why there was kind of limited location.
Yeah, that
Which
would
is
make
smart,
sense
yeah.
why they didn't shoot a lot because it costs money to
Yeah, there you go.
take
64.
things back.
And the only
Um,
cars that they showed were really junky cars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
that mean they would have been old when at the
Right,
time they filmed them. You know,
We didn't get a Delta, which was kind of which
Yeah.
we wouldn't have.
we wouldn't have.
But
'cause,
it was,
Yeah.
Really, really interesting to see a Bruce movie without a Delta in it. I haven't seen one of those in a while. But
It was before the
The-
Delta really dug its
before
wheels
it,
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this movie starts out. Another thing interesting about this, it has an original soundtrack.
oh, really?
That was interesting.
That was
yeah,
an original soundtrack.
that was an original soundtrack. I
Ooh.
noticed that on the credits, like when in opening credits,
I
it
thought
has
it was
music and score by music score and original lyrics by someone. I
no kidding.
don't see their names, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's an original soundtrack.
It's
Man.
pretty.
I don't know. I didn't care for
It's
it.
very generic.
I thought it
it's
was,
very
um,
generic.
I mean, it's pretty. I mean, it does the job. I'm not gonna
the
give it
lyrics
super
are
high
decent.
praise.
You're right. It did do the job, but I thought it was kind of just
It's
what they
cheesy.
could get for cheap.
Right. No, apparently they had an original
Well,
score.
cool.
and
Good for
original
them.
soundtrack.
No, that's
Like,
good. Because
The song they keep using is pretty shit, but like I was listening to the lyrics. I was listening to the lyrics. Like the lyrics like made a lot of sense. The lyrics are about like hitchhiking. Which makes
Yeah.
sense. I mean, it's because that seems to be so. It opens up with our two main characters who we're going to follow for the entire film. It's Bryce, played by Bruce, and Clee, played by the other guy.
Cleveland.
Howe. Yeah.
Hal.
What was his name? Howe. Last name
Christopher Howe?
Christopher Howe. That was it. Yes.
Yeah, and I believe they're in between high school and college. It sounds like.
Yeah.
They wrap high school,
They're doing a road trip before they start college. Yeah.
and their idea of a road trip is they're just hitchhiking.
I
Yeah, they're
know.
just traveling around.
I
and-
was so confused with that beginning because they pulled out of their fucking driveway in a car.
Yeah, they
And
did.
I thought that I had stopped paying attention or something because I'm like, wait, did their car break down or something? I was a little confused by that, but I think they were just hopping a ride because then they're hitchhiking the whole way.
Just getting out of town. Yeah. Just getting out. just getting
Yeah.
out.
They
But
kinda
that
left-
wasn't clear.
Yeah, they kind
They
of left.
could have. They could have showed him like drop him off at the edge or something and wave goodbye.
Yeah, they definitely left you to piece that together because I thought the same thing of like,
Yeah.
oh, it's these three guys going on a road trip,
That's what I was
and,
thinking.
Yeah.
and then it goes down to two, and I'm like, okay, so
Oh.
either he got you from point A to point B, or
Yeah.
y'all had a massive fight, and that didn't go too well.
Yeah.
So
But-
they then we get like our first montage we get of the movie.
Yeah.
Where we get that original song that they use.
Yeah.
And it's just like various shots of them hitchhiking.
And
We
getting-
don't really get any context of how long they've been hitchhiking
No.
or how far they've gone.
No,
Mm-mm.
nothing
Uh,
like that.
we just know
like
they're
there's-
hitchhiking along.
and it's been rainy sometimes.
Raining, which I thought that was kind of interesting. That's like stuff I would have liked to have focused on more, is
Mhm.
like the actual hitchhiking portion of things. So this pretty much like introduces the concept of hitchhiking. Then they get picked up by Jack, and then we stay in our one location for the majority of the film. But, like,
Right. Yeah.
I think the whole hitchhiking aspect would have been interesting to
Yeah.
explore more. Like, I think that's an interesting
It would have been cool to see him on,
opportunity to
on an actual like road trip movie. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And we could have gotten more of the relationship between Clee and Bryce out of that.
Oh yeah,
You know, them
Right.
hitchhiking. Just I mean, it's just two guys hitchhiking. So I mean, what else you gonna do other than like talk and like venture off into whatever tangents you may go on? I feel like that would have been an interesting opportunity to explore those characters a little more before we introduce Jack,
Yes.
because it's pretty much like we meet them at the beginning. They go hitchhiking, and then eventually they're thumbing for a ride, and some old man in a pickup truck pulls up,
Yep.
and that's our third character who is in the movie. In the rest of the movie, his name is Jack. He's
Jack.
an old lonely war veteran,
Yep.
and he picks him up, takes him back to his house, and they just decide to spend the summer with this old man. Like,
Yeah.
I thought it was only a week. Was it only? Is it a
No,
week?
it-
kind of unclear. It was more than a week.
It seemed like they were there for a while.
Yeah,
like,
they were
from
there
Yeah.
quite.
from what I got.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
because
didn't
they like really
give
get to know
us-
this old dude.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
I mean,
Because
it's
he's like, if you want to stay, I got a bunkhouse and stuff like that. And he's, he has the bunkhouse all made up already and stuff like that. So it sounds like he's been itching for company for a while anyway.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
That's kind of what I got from it. Like, it
Yeah.
seems like so he doesn't work. He lives off of a military pension,
Yep.
Mhm.
and he rents out the farmland.
acreage
He
that
owns,
he's
he owns,
got.
like,
Yeah, for farmers.
he owns,
Which
40
I
acres,
mean,
something like that.
Yeah.
like you can make so much fucking money. Like,
Yeah.
get a
Oh,
nicer
yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Get you a nicer house, Peepop. Like,
Yeah.
Jack is
The-
easily my favorite character throughout this
Yeah.
whole film.
Yeah, I really like.
Oh, yeah.
He's awesome.
He was fun. He
And
was
he's
fun.
just-
Yeah, he was he's our third character, and then like he just kind of invites him to stay,
They sit
makes
around and
chicken pot pies for him,
Yep.
I guess.
Lets them drink beer that grows hair on
Lets
their
him drink
chest.
beer.
They
And
kind of
then
laugh and joke around and
our,
get to know each other until Then our fourth
And I
character.
got that was kind of awkward scene when she shows up. It's like
I know.
she's like trying to leave. He's like, "No, stay." And,
I
like it was
know.
just really weird. And like,
I was like,
no, I really
"Man."
want to get back. No, nonsense. You stay.
You stay here, woman.
Yeah.
these three guys just like, no, come on, stay. It's like, oh, we know she's afraid of her dad, really.
Yes.
But it's like, it was kind of like, oh God, guys, knows a no.
Yeah, let's
what
just
was her,
go.
What was her name again? What was her name?
Cindy.
Cindy.
Cynthia.
Yeah.
Cindy.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
the old man already knew how her dad was because right after she leaves, he tells this horrible story about like how he's just controlling and
Which I didn't understand that story, by the way. I got the gist of it, but I didn't understand the story itself.
she came home late and he was waiting for her with a shotgun and just acting all drunk and weird. And what did he do? He was yelling at her or something, wasn't he? Or
Something
questioning
like that,
her.
yeah.
I can't quite remember, but like he just used scare
being
tactics
an
on her
asshole,
and her
yeah.
mom all
He
the
was
time.
being an
Aw.
abusive
Yeah.
asshole.
So it's like
And-
the old man should have definitely been like, no, guys, maybe we'll
Like,
see her
she
tomorrow.
can
We'll
go.
see. Yeah, let her get home. Yeah.
No, but she's like super awkward too.
Yeah,
she's like,
she's really shy and puts her face down. And like, we don't really even see her face until later in the movie.
for some reason, I think Bruce Campbell, invites her to show him around town. And that what like he asked her like, "What do you do
Yeah.
for fun around here?" She's like, "There's nothing to do."
Yep.
And then he's like, "Well, stay a little longer, or whatever." She's like, "No, I have things to do."
Yep.
And he's
just
well,
being
there's at least there's nothing to do.
Yeah. But he does. He
then-
insists that she like show him around tomorrow, and she's
him
kind
around.
of about it. Like she's
She's very about everything
Yeah.
about this whole movie. It's like
she's
everything
very
she's doing is just
shy,
kind of like
she's very
getting-
timid.
very much,
Yeah.
very.
Which really does play to like her background at least. Like I
Mhm.
don't know if
Yeah.
they wrote like has she
And her overall character. I mean, her overall character.
right, it fits it, but it's I don't
They even-
know.
she
what else
even-
has she done?
She even points it out in the movie. Like, her character even says, like, remember how I was talking about how shy I was and everything? And so they even like out themselves with it. Like, yeah, we know this character's
Yeah.
really shy and quiet.
And this is her only movie. This is the only movie that the actress did, Susan.
Like a running thing of people in this movie. Just like I think there was a local people. Like
Yeah, it's probably just people that. Yeah, I think this really does play into like the director was really he's an artist first. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
think
Right.
he just kind of had an opportunity to make a movie
Yeah.
right.
and asked, just got some people because I remember Bruce. I remember reading that Bruce said this was one of his smoothest, easiest shoots.
Oh, nice.
He was really I
That
think
makes sense.
it does, but he said it was really, chill and a lot of teamwork and whatever. But I really think it's just after the Nightmare of Evil Dead, he will always remember this as a heavenly next.
Oh my God.
production,
Yep.
as far as that goes. So
And so Bryce takes a Cindy, and this is our the first of our two, I guess, love interests we have here.
yeah.
Because we have Bryce and Cindy, and then Clea and Jack.
Who have like a little bromance
Who are-
going
it's
on.
something. Clea is fucking in love with Jack. That was the real romance I thought of the movie.
It was so cute because like you find out that Clee's dad died when he was only like 3 years
Right,
old, and
right.
like
So-
Jack is like teaching him how to do like plumbing and
Yeah.
Yeah.
fixing different stuff and everything. So it's like it's really kind of like this like little father figure that came along up until they both got sewage in their mouths, and that
Oh
was
my God.
fucking disgusting.
Right.
Why would you put your face all the way up underneath a hole like that? I'm not a plumber, but I just feel like it's a bad idea. I mean, I don't know. If there's any plumbers out there, tell us
Yeah.
if that's a good or a bad
Anybody
idea.
who's ever watched this movie was watching them work on that plumbing under the trailer and going, no. Long before it happened. It's like, oh God.
Yeah.
Come
And
on,
he's just
guys.
sitting there fucking laughing like it's hysterical. Like, you now have shit in your mouth, dude.
But
Like,
you're right. They had quite a strong chemistry between
were
each
They
other.
did.
They really did.
Clea was obsessed with Jack.
Yeah.
He was like very
Yeah.
into Jack.
Yeah.
And,
I think it was
one of the
definitely
things
like
that,
a father figure thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
One of the things I didn't like with this movie is like I'm really indifferent toward this movie, honestly. Like I know
Right.
you guys really enjoyed it, but like I am very indifferent toward it. 'Cause I just thought some of the dialogue was kind of awkward. And, one of the things
yeah.
it does in this movie is like it likes to just tell you things that are happening.
yes.
Tell you of things that have happened. Instead of showing you, it's just like, oh, here's a story, and they just tell you the whole story,
And, yeah.
and then moves
And,
on from there.
I remember watching this and saying, like, man, all they're doing is talking about better ideas for a movie. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And,
yeah. Which
and I
I mean,
agree
I'm
with
sure
that.
it's budgetary. It's all budgetary.
Oh, it
and
has
they-
to be.
and-
Yeah.
And the
You
fact
can't-
that Ron Teachwood's never made a movie, I mean, probably a lot
Yeah.
of those factors play into it. But
Yeah. And it's probably
Uh,
just what he was, like, because a lot of these were stuff that apparently really happened or he had
Mhm.
experience with. So it really was just like, how do I get these people to know? Well, I think Clee is Ron. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
that's
Ron
where
wrote
I
Clee
kind
to
of
be
perceived
him.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I would put money
Clee
on
does
that.
seem like more the lead.
Yeah.
Over Bryce.
Yeah. He's the one that has a little more to him. Not saying Bryce was like a shallow character in a critical sense. He was meant to be a little more shallow. He's more superficial in like his goals and pursuits. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I think, that's kind of the point, though. I think because eventually he kind of realizes that.
Well,
Because there's a couple times when they're having dialogue, Clee and Bryce, where they're saying things that I feel like they could have taken time to make it a little more clever.
Yeah. Well,
Because there's a scene later when they're like walking along the road and they're just like expositing like character details that would have been interesting to like see kind of put out a little better. It's obvious Ron has something to say and he's like, well, instead of I'm just going to feed it to the audience, here's what I have to say, and here they're saying it, like, war's bad and all that stuff, and he just that's the dialogue. It's like, war's bad.
It's a bunch of statements. I get you. I think their dialogue, much like many other indie projects, suffers from not doing enough drafts, not doing table reads. Once you've advanced in your drafts, like all of that sort of stuff, it's like, that's what their dialogue was really good for making the message clear, but then you have to rewrite it to make it a little more palatable.
A little less ham-fisted.
So it was kind of like after that.
There's kind of like forking over these points to the audience,
right?
Instead of just like giving it in a clever, interesting dialogue, they're just like, no, here's what I have to say, and like that was the part. That's what I feel like the biggest fault of the movie is, in my opinion, was from a writing standpoint. It was just the way they delivered.
And we're used to a little more wit in dialogue from Bruce.
You would have. You would expect a little more wit. But after Cindy's introduced, pretty much that's Bryce's plot point. He is now seeking summer love. Like he's very interested in Cindy.
They're being very like flirty and
very flirty. I wish we would have got a little more context on the actual time, like the time that they're there,
how long they were with each other. Yeah, I agree with you. It was very ambiguous.
Yeah, because they pretty much like hang out for a day and then like they screw in a car and then I don't really know what else they do other than like go to that.
So the car was more towards the end of their stay.
Was it? Okay.
However long that was, I don't know.
And this movie, by the way, has a runtime of like an hour 15. Like it's a very short movie.
It's not terribly long. They cram a lot and a lot of dialogue into that hour and 15 minutes too.
And I think that's another reason why a lot of the dialogue sounds that way, is a lot of those are longer takes, and I imagine those are longer takes to save money so that they don't have to keep redoing takes. So
that makes sense.
I'll bet a lot of it was like the director saying, okay, you know what, whatever happens, just get back on track from the dial. You know what I mean? Just keep it going and make it work, and if we try not
there was a really weird editing choice too. I caught it bugged me. It's like so when Clee and Jack are under the trailer like fixing the plumbing. And Jack is like telling one of his stories, because that's what Jack does in this movie. It's just like tells stories of his youth when he traveled and people he met and things like that. And he's telling Clee this story, and then it cuts to Cindy at her house. Writing a letter, I think.
This scene bothered me so much. Yeah, she's writing a poem.
She's writing a poem, and she's like,
and we're hearing her voice.
You hear the poem, but at the same time, the track for Jack telling his story to Clee is right over top of it, and it's like, what the fuck is going on?
That was really weird. And then her dad like starts yelling at her from the background just to add to this. Like, it was a really weird choice. I did not understand that. That was odd. Like
I was watching this with my friend Evan. He was like doing shit while I was watching on TV, and like he like looks up. He's like, "Is this like a horror movie?" I was like, "No." He's like, it's so chaotic. For this one spot, I was like, it's really chaotic right here, but this hasn't been anywhere else in the movie.
No, it was just.
And it never does happen again. It's just like this really weird, chaotic little spot in the movie.
I had no idea, and I couldn't even. It was so jarring to me that I couldn't even tell if like they were trying to go for some like correlation between the stories or something. Like if there was a deliberate choice for that, I couldn't. I was so distracted, I couldn't even. I had no idea. Like
They never do it again. Like it never happens again. Or there's nothing. There's no other like weird editing choice they make. It's like this one time he's like, let's try something different. And like
It makes you think they're in the same location. Like maybe they're just right
Yeah.
underneath of them, hearing them.
Made
Like I
everything
actually had to.
confusing.
I had to look over at Eric and be like, "Are they in the same house?" And he's like, "No, these are two totally separate locations." And I'm like, "Okay, you have no reason."
Yeah.
From what I can tell off of first
Or at
watching it
least-
to do that.
Well,
so
hell, I don't know. Was it their house? Did he say something about
No,
working on
he's
their
he's
plumbing?
under the trailer. Yeah, they're
He's
under
under
the
their
trailer.
own.
They
That's
even
what I
show
thought.
him go underneath his trailer. Like
Yeah.
they show him.
That's
You know,
just
he
how
goes and shows
confusing this
Clee how to
scene
move
is.
the wood get underneath there. Like it's
Yeah.
very deliberate that hey, they're not in the same location.
Right, that's
Yeah.
what I thought, but it was not clear.
like I said, off of
weird.
first watch, to me, there's no reason to have that there. But honestly, it's so shocking when you first watch it. You're like, wait, what the fuck is going on? And you're not even focusing on what dialogue is actually being
Yeah.
said. So maybe if like I go back and rewatch it, there is a legit reason for that happening. But it's so shocking that your audience misses it.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was.
I wouldn't really know what the purpose of it would be. Like even like from a story context, I don't know what. Like unless like Eric said, unless there is like some kind of like
correlation in the story.
he's
Yeah.
saying something that she's like saying as well. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I think it was a young artist trying to be fancy, and it didn't really work.
More than likely.
That's what that
Yeah.
felt like to me. It's like I don't know what they were going for with that.
Because there's a couple things that they do in here that like don't really add to the story. Like with the they have that one scene with Bryce and Clee where they're walking on the road to go into the movies.
Oh yeah,
And that one makes sense because they're like it's a ham-fisted scene nonetheless where they're like just expositing character traits instead of developing the characters. I was like, oh, my dad's dead. I wish I knew my dad. All this, and hey, your mom's really cool. Your mom loves you. Yeah, my mom does. It's just very ham-fisted way to like tell these, develop these characters, but they do it. But then they get to the movie and like they don't really point in that. There's like
they're just watching.
They go see this movie with the Beatles.
Mhm. It looks like Bryce wants to cuddle with Clee.
That's what I thought. Yeah, what's going on here? Like,
I was like, oh, they're gonna. Oh, never mind. They're not cuddling. Okay.
yeah, that's like a weird turn. Like
it's just like there's a couple of shots like that. Like towards the end too, there's a couple of shots where it's just like, why is that there? I don't know. But that was one of them. It's like, all right, that scene really could have ended with them walking, like,
it could
just
have.
the end of the dialogue there. You know what I mean?
It could have, because like the movie never, like I've never seen
Mhm.
the Beatles movie, whatever that was,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it has. Maybe if like what that movie is, maybe it's like,
maybe
this
there is
has
some symbolism there.
maybe
'Cause
this has like something to do with the movie itself. I don't know. I've never
Yeah.
seen that movie.
That's one thing about this movie going back. It's heavy on the dialogue and heavy on the symbolism.
Yes.
Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
What's the
But
symbolism?
the dialogue is extremely ham-fisted.
It is like just the epitome of like one of those pretentious first indie films. Like you know what I mean? Like you're a visionary. You have something to say, and I'm sure he thought like, man, this is good.
This is the
Which
shit.
I mean, it's not bad, but I mean, I'm sure like in his mind, a little more pretentious than what he thought it was. Like,
And there was what's the book that they were reading? Because it kind of even feels like what this movie is. On the Road. Have you heard of that?
never heard
That's
of it.
one
But
of
I mean, it
those-
makes sense.
it's
They do
just
spend
one
a
of
lot-
these-
little bit of
yeah.
time on the road.
Yeah, I haven't actually read it. I've just kind of heard about it, and there's been a movie made about it and stuff like that. And it's much more on the road. It seems like you know what I mean.
Okay.
It's the same thing. It's a road trip, slice of life sort of thing, and then you go back to reality or some shit. But yeah, he's
Yeah,
like
I'd
what
love
Clee
to
is
make one of these road
reading that
movies.
book,
That'd be fun.
huh?
That would be fun to make a road movie like
Oh my
this.
god,
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like if I was in my early 20s, this is something I would have made if I had the means.
Oh
Like,
hell
you know.
yeah! If you get an
No.
excuse to travel,
Yeah.
So
I would
much
I feel like it
no.
would.
Yeah.
So much.
Oh, I don't know.
One thing I thought was really funny was in the beginning they mentioned like being on the road in Kansas, and Eric will know the
Oh
bit
my
of that
gosh.
joke. Yeah.
That'd be a nightmare. I do. I have the worst time driving through Kansas. Just to give
It's like-
the listeners some context. Yeah, it's just an absolute eternity, and it feels like going through limbo. And Jack apparently had a road trip through Kansas, and sounds like he had a better time than I did.
But I saw that and I instantly thought of you, and I was like, "Oh, can relate."
Can relate.
But I don't know, man. I don't know. On the road movies are super fun. They're honestly a lot of fun. Doing actual road trips is one of the hells that I'm sure is waiting for me on the other side.
Yeah, road movies make it seem like much more of an adventure than it actually is. But
Yeah.
it's like sitting in a car, for hours on end.
Yeah.
I sleep, man. I sleep. You can ask Michael and Anna. There was maybe 15 minutes where I actually drove on a part of our road trip. The rest of the time, I took a Benadryl and I was out. That's my road trip.
I mean, it's interesting concept. I mean, I don't know. It'd be fun to explore that maybe, and it'd be cheap. I feel like
it would be cheap. Yeah,
just a car caravan. You have a trailer with the film equipment and just go.
Maybe Cult Talk Net will get into the movie business.
Fuck that. We're just gonna put Ursa in the trunk and strap him in.
There we go.
But I actually do kind of want, because apparently that book is like influenced other movies of this nature.
We're gonna have to get that.
Big,
I'm sure it's
like that.
dirt cheap. I bet it's like one of those like public domain.
Oh yeah, I'm
books
sure
you
it's
get for $5 or something.
Yeah, I think it was written in the 50s or something like that.
Yeah. I bet you get it for nothing.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get that.
Maybe, I don't know.
Then maybe it'll inspire us to make that road trip to Bulgaria.
Oh boy,
there's a road that leads to Bulgaria. I thought it was like over the pond. I'm just making sure my geographics are correct. I don't think that's possible, sir.
I don't think it'd be a safe time to go over there right now anyway.
Probably not.
Nah.
It's a little too close to some shit, so.
Ooh, topical.
Ooh, yeah, very topical.
Dude.
Look at me. We're having a very topical discussion all of a sudden.
So it's kind of hard to put us through the plot kind of beyond this point, because a lot of it is just them telling each other stories and getting to know each other in these two different veins of thought. One is pursuing romance and one is pursuing a father figure. They're just
very awkward conversation like later on when like Jack is taking a shit.
Gosh,
and
we
Bryce
have to talk about
let's go on about this.
What are they doing here? Like,
crap.
what is this?
So it's almost time for them to leave, and Bryce, as usual, is just chilling. He's on the couch because he's chilling a lot in this movie.
He does.
He's just letting life
fucks and chills. That's what he does.
I was getting ready to say, listen, I mean, laying pipe for him must be like a hard thing to do, because he takes a lot of R&R time afterward. Like, god damn.
But the location that he lays pipe is actually a pretty nice little location. That little car in the middle of the woods.
Oh,
that was a cute little location.
Actually.
I mean, as long as you don't get cut and get tetanus, I guess it's fine.
Because that was actually a good scene for Bruce, where I was actually kind of like, oh damn, his acting's improved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really.
You know what I mean?
There was definitely a big improvement from this Evil Dead.
So it's when Bryce and Cindy are out frolicking, they come across a broken down car, no windshield, and they're like, it's all cute, like, hey, let's go get in the car, and they sit down, and Bruce kind of sings a Beatles song for a moment, playing around like he's turning on the radio or something. It's just a dead old car.
It's so cute.
Rusty. And
he hands her a sun visor and goes, "This is for you. Here you go. Take it."
Puts it down on the dash.
She's like, "Oh,
this is the scene where we actually get a good look at her face.
Yeah, we actually get to see what she looks like.
Which I think was also another artsy fartsy move, because it's also the scene where she reads him some poetry. So it's like she's finally opening up. So we finally get to see her. You know what I mean?
It was a really, really sweet scene. And it does give Bruce a different note for me, because in the last podcast, I did talk about where I wanted to see Bruce do a little something different.
It was
and this was this. And I was actually really impressed with it. I thought it was sweet.
Yeah. And the camera stayed on him the whole time she was reading the poem, pretty much. Just getting his, his kind of just silent reaction.
Yeah, just about. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was where I went, oh, wow, Bruce, you're stepping it up, buddy. Yeah. It was good. It was good. Yeah.
So he deserved his victory.
Yeah.
He deserved to plant his flag.
And victory he got. They started to smooch, and then they sank below eye line, and the camera slowly backs away from the car to give them a little privacy.
And it is a beautiful shot too. You see,
very, very nice.
The color of the car really stands out in it too. So
that was, I thought, one of the standout pieces of the movie was that car setting they had. It's just an interesting little thing. Just this car in the middle of this really beautiful field. Yeah, it was just a really nice little set piece.
I think shots like that were what kind of gets this movie some A+ as far as its cinematography goes.
Right.
Yeah, some of the shots it's I don't understand, but then they have some really gorgeous shots.
Well, then there's not really a lot to look at regardless. I mean, because the movie stays mostly just on Jack's property.
Right.
It's just a
Right.
trailer and a barn and some fence and a field. That's like all it is.
Yeah.
And then the bunkhouse. But yeah, so Bryce is like chilling out, read a comic, and they say, I think it's time we
Start to
head
back.
out. The summer's almost over when you get ready for school and all that. So Clee goes out to let Jack know, and Jack is taking a shit in the outhouse with the door wide open.
And he's
like,
fully aware.
Yep.
He's fully aware before he
yeah.
even goes out there because
Yeah,
he starts
sees him through
laughing.
the window. He's like, "Oh my gosh, this
Jack's
will never
taking
do
a
this."
shit.
Yeah.
In the
Oh, I'm gonna go
outhouse.
talk
The
to
door wide
him.
open. Yeah, let's wait for. Should we wait for him to finish up now? Let's go talk to him now.
Well, I'll just go now. And then he just fucking Clee pulls out a lawn chair
yeah.
and just plops down next to him, and they have this whole conversation.
And he's like,
yeah.
"Don't go
About
to
their
war."
future. Yeah, like don't go to war. Yeah, he makes some pretty just like strong, blatant on the nose statements about the war and the government, the military. I wonder how Ron felt about the war and the government and the draft. And all that.
How would you take
I don't know.
that? Yeah,
I don't know.
You gotta dig into
We got to
that.
dig
see
into
how
that dialogue a little bit.
Yeah.
Although
that was why I wanted you on this project anyway, on this episode.
There's a lot.
Because I was like, oh, it's a drama movie, so Eric is going to be able to like dig out some like contect from things and some
there
deeper
is
meanings.
some really cool subtext to this. That's one of the things I like about this movie because like the dialogue is very ham-fisted.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's getting a lot of like it's most of the praise it gets is for its cinematography, but I'm not particularly wowed by most of it.
Yeah,
but like I actually really do like kind of the subtext to this, and it invoked the feeling that it wanted to. As far as from my opinion, what I think the movie wanted to make you feel, to me, I felt it. I was along for the ride on this one, and I think they did it in a sweet way, in an honest way, maybe not necessarily a wowing way.
Right.
So
anyway. We get he lets Jack know they're leaving. They say their goodbyes, and then we get a very just like out of nowhere time jump.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. This is the going back of going back. Suddenly, it felt like the end of the movie. They said goodbye to everybody. Bryce went to say goodbye to Cindy, and we saw her dad like in the background again. And
can we talk about this for a second? Because he is awkwardly walking right next to the car, and his dad Cindy's dad has the window down, the driver's windows down, and Cindy's in the back of the car. And I really wish they would have like given Bruce almost like a Brucey moment where he's like, "Hey, Daddy-o, how you doing?" Like introducing himself to the dad, because like it's just so awkward to me that he's just walking along beside there, like just like staring at each other, and I'm like, I know he's a bit of an asshole from what the movie says, but like at least be like, "Hi, I'm Bryce." Like,
right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's more like they didn't have an actor; they had a stand-in.
Yeah,
yeah, bro. Yeah. So, but I think it was at Ron Teachwood's dad because I looked at the character
cool.
is something Teachwood.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? And like Clee's mom at the beginning was the actor's actual mom.
Yeah, actually, Clee. Yeah,
it was
is that Bruce's mom in the beginning saying bye to him?
It didn't say that. No, it just said Clee's mom.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, he like gives her the "I love you" way too soon, but promises to write and stuff, Right. And then we have that fast forward.
Yeah, it's a 4-year time jump. I think.
Yep.
And we have Bruce.
This was awkward. This was ham-fisted.
Bruce with a mustache.
Bruce has got a porn mustache.
It takes 4 years to grow a mustache.
Yeah, he's got a porn stash, and
Bruce has got a side job,
hair and a beard.
Clee looks like he's trying to turn into Bob Ross.
I liked Clee's look better than I liked Bruce's look. To be honest with you,
me too. I agree. Like, I'm just not just the mustache kind of guy myself.
Plus,
I think the only other time we've seen Bruce with facial hair is Antilochus, and he has like the goatee thing going on.
I just think Bruce
and the new one that came out, he had a mustache in, didn't he?
Oh yeah, and fucking Black Friday. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh. I just think he looks so much better, like clean shaven, like a jawline and a chin like that. You don't need to hide that.
Yeah.
Like just have it clean shaven. Show it off, Brucey.
Right. Yeah, it was very jarring. Just like that. But I know that's like what they were thinking. Like, how do we show that's been time jump? Oh,
is it a fake?
It's got to be facial hair. Yeah.
Is it a fake mustache? Because it looks a little fake, but I'm a little nervous to say it's a fake.
I don't know if it was. Honestly, I don't know.
I don't know, but I'll bet you they probably grew it out for that. I don't know. like
I guarantee they took
their
some
facial
time.
hair wasn't like that much advanced where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it would have taken them forever to grow that out.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know. Of
They
course,
may have
with
had
the
some time.
with
Yeah.
the quality of, footage at the time, you probably could get away with fake stuff easier.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. So they could have fooled me. I don't know.
I don't
So
know
they just
either.
like
I don't-
awkwardly 4 years later, just like
Yep.
bumping each other at a bar.
Yep.
Like it's
And
it's
they
like
kinda
super
catch up.
ham fisted. It's like it was so awkward. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought this was
Oh,
very
yeah.
poorly done.
And he recognizes him right away.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, Clee, Bryce, how you been?" And it's like just fast forward. Oh, we know each other. Yeah, we haven't talked in 4 years.
Well,
hey, let's go meet Jack.
They
Like,
talk
right,
about how they like drifted apart a little. You know what I mean?
right.
But,
Yeah, they do kind of pepper that
Yeah.
in there.
But like the only reason they went back was because Bryce was like, "Hey, Cindy,"
Yeah,
Yeah.
You start reminiscing, about that.
Well, you also find
time.
out that Clee did keep in touch with Jack here and there throughout the
he
years.
did.
Right.
He's the one who kept in touch, and then we find out that Bryce, he kind of wrote a few letters back and forth with Cindy, and then petered out. And
Yeah.
but
So they decide
But it's
they're going back.
yep, they're going back. It's time, and they have a
And
junker
they
car.
played it. They played it like really fast too. It's like, let's
Yep.
go Thursday. Let's go this
I
weekend. Oh, I
know, that
can't.
was the
Well,
thing.
Let's go
how about
tomorrow.
Thursday?
Bryce was like, "Yeah, next weekend. I can't do the weekend."
Yeah, I got company coming over. Well,
Thursday,
what
then.
Thursday.
I gotta be
All
back
right.
by Saturday. Let's
Yep.
do it. Okay. Okay.
Deal.
And off they go.
Off they go.
Dude,
Meet,
Not
see
a-
Jack.
Can't call ahead. They just
In hindsight,
Decide
though,
to
how much would you fucking love that if you could be like, yeah, we're just gonna go on a trip like 2 days
Oh,
from now,
yeah.
and you know,
Yeah.
as long as I'm back by Saturday, it's fine. We can do whatever we want. Like, how much would you
Yeah.
fucking love that?
yeah.
Like,
This did capture like the simpleness of life back then. I feel
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
one thing it did capture very well. I thought just the things.
Oh,
Were so
I
simple. And,
agree.
like they couldn't call Jack, because it's like what 1968 at that point. Not
Right.
everyone has phones, and
Yeah, there's no way to call ahead. He
I
probably didn't even
thought
have
for
one.
sure Jack was gonna be dead.
oh my god, so did I.
Did
Oh, that
I was literally
my
watching it like they
gosh.
killed him. They fucking
Yeah.
killed him. Like I'm about to be
Yeah.
so
'Cause,
mad they
like,
killed him.
They get back and the farm is all run down looking and rusted over, and Jack is nowhere to be seen for just the longest time.
Yeah, they really build it up.
Yeah,
like
they
he's gonna be
did.
dead. He's gonna be in there dead, or like there's gonna be some note that the house is
like
up for
repoed
sale or something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
some shit.
man. Yeah.
They go inside. They go inside,
just
and they're
scared
like
me.
Jack, and here he comes. Like, hey, Clee, Bryce.
I know
Smoking
they
a
just
doobie.
walk right in, and he's
Right.
like, "Hey," in a robe,
Yeah, just in his robe and a,
Yep.
and a little tank top,
Of course,
and he's
it's
like,
like
I got
he
a
doesn't
flu.
care. He also took a shit while having a conversation with one
Right.
of them. So,
But before all that, though, we do have like the car ride there, where
Oh, yeah.
Clee is talking about his new
Lydia.
love
They're getting
interest,
caught up.
Lydia.
yeah, his
Lydia, who's a protester who smokes weed,
reefer
and-
smoker.
She
Never met a girl that did that.
she protests like
What he
he
said.
pretty much got everything that Jack told him to get. Like, like she's against the
Yep.
war. She's like I think they even mentioned like she's
Oh,
against some school policies too.
Right. He ended up taking
She's-
on he took Jack's ideals to
Yeah.
heart in looking for her. Holy fuck. Oh, cool. Oh, neat. That's,
See, I listen.
Yeah.
I listen sometimes.
that's cool.
But like, yeah, like, and like she smokes grass, and like the whole time he's describing her, I'm like, so did he find me in a past life somewhere? Like, it says she's funny.
Well,
Like,
Ty, that plays to your theory earlier that this is a romance story between the two of them. He found his young
He
female
did.
Jack.
he found Jack. He found his young Jack.
the only thing that they probably could have done better was name her Jacqueline. Like-
Oh my god, that'd been hilarious.
I'm kind of glad they didn't though, but I would have laughed my ass off. Oh my goodness. And they're kind of catching up on Bryce too. Bryce is basically, he kind of had my college experience. Drank too much and flunked out.
Almost flunked the second
Tried
time.
to find a good job after that. Good luck.
Yeah.
And again, he's still more focused on romance and stuff like that than he is. Like he was kind of bouncing around from chick to chick.
Oh my
instead of
God.
Really, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they ask about
Mhm.
Cindy, and he is like, how long's it been since you've seen her? And he's like, oh, that was a couple girls ago. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, he wasn't even asking about Cindy. He was asking about somebody else
Oh,
probably from the
yeah.
last time he saw him.
it was
And
like
he's
Jean.
it was a couple
Like-
of girls ago. Yeah. Yeah. They did the like he held out his hands like, oh, the bosomy chick. You know what I'm saying?
The big-breasted one.
Yeah.
It was funny though.
So
like
that's kind of what I meant, where he's kind of like Bruce's character had a lot of like just superficial pursuits.
He did, yeah.
But I think that's, again, I kind of think that's where I think that's why he attached to Cindy so much. He actually came across something that felt more real to him. You know what I mean? Or at least that's how he remembers it.
He could have because you even said something about like seeing something through rose-tinted glasses.
Yeah.
As, like, you remember it more and more through life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was another thing that when they came back and they were in their bunk and, you hear that horrible mosquito audio sound buzzing around. And Bryce goes, I don't remember there being any mosquitoes. But if you go back to like the first scene where they were in that bunker, the bunk beds, they were like, all these mosquitoes. I won't miss these, So it's like they went back. So I almost wonder if the place kind of looked like that the whole time, and they just kind of remembered it from the good, the cool stuff, the adventurous stuff.
There's that deeper context I was looking for. Right. Doing this. That's why I was looking to have Eric on this. Sonny, you pull something out of it.
It's the only thing I liked about this movie. was really stuff sweet. Like that. It was, it was cool.
So Jack is like now like kind of like a shell of his old self. Like he's no longer like he's this sick. Like hopeful, optimistic guy. He's kind of like defeated a little bit.
Yeah, he sold off some of his land.
He just says he's running on steam, like he's tired and like he sold off 20 acres and is living off his pension and is for some fucking reason living in a trailer. Even though I know you can build / buy a very nice house after selling 20 acres. And he won't even back then.
Won't go to a doctor.
Got
a just being a stubborn old man.
Yep.
And he tells Bryce, Bryce asks about Cindy and he tells him like, oh, she got married, lives on that farmhouse down
Oh my gosh, the look on Bruce's
down the way.
face.
Oh yeah.
He looks so devastated.
He just like runs. He just like takes off running.
Yep.
I'm gonna go get her.
I'm gonna go talk to her. Yep, and leaves. But he looked so fucking crestfallen.
Yeah, everything. His whole reason to going out there was like hopefully to rekindle this.
That's why you write.
Feeling.
Yeah. Yep. So he gets to her,
runs all the way there.
Yeah, he does. And that was a long running shot. And for some reason, there was like just this random stray black dog in the background.
Yeah, they're probably like,
boy, get out of the shot. Well, he's just gonna be in the shot. Fuck it. Like,
yeah.
And he gets to Cindy's, and she is like not at all. Like I don't know. It's like it was really awkward. I thought just like
she just comes outside and is like, oh hi, it's just like a regular Tuesday, and like you're just coming back after like a week of being gone. Like this is totally normal. Like it.
And she has what 2 kids now?
2 babies.
She had 2 kids. Really?
She comes out carrying a baby, right?
No, one of the babies is crying in the background.
I don't think we see any of the kids actually.
Yeah, and but he's like, can you want to take a walk or whatever? And she's like, well, I'll get a babysitter.
I guess I could get a sitter. Yeah.
I have 2 other humans I have to account for. Let me just like
yeah, she's like because he's really crestfallen about the kids. And she's like, you heard it. You knew I was married, right? He's like, yeah, I just didn't know you had kids. Yeah.
I didn't know you were that unfuckable now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you're ruined.
You're ruined.
Poor Bryce.
Poor thing.
Poor Cindy, though, really.
Yeah, they go on a walk, and like she basically tells him like she's not happy. She just kind of like did this out of necessity, just like kind of get away from her father.
Married the guy because he was just a way out of her father's house.
Yeah, he was like,
wanted to settle down with somebody himself. Like he was just back from the war, and he was like, marriage is the next step, right? And she's like,
get me out.
My mom understands, but. Yeah, her dad like controlled all the money. She couldn't go off to college or anything like that. So, and she just got pregnant right away.
Pregnant on the honeymoon. So it wasn't like
pregnant on the honeymoon.
You didn't even like. I don't know how it went back then, but it's like, whew.
She just
Most of the time you have like, well, I mean, I don't even know about most of the time because I don't have kids nor am married. So it's like, I don't know. I would like to think you have at least until after the honeymoon, but I don't know. So.
Just happens when it happens.
When it happens, yeah.
She kind of implied that she didn't really understand how it worked anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, she was kind of undereducated. It sounded like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
So-
and they walk out to the field where the car is.
Yep. The car. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how she goes, I haven't used it since then. Like,
Yeah, 'cause,
aw,
yeah.
it's Bryce's car.
'Cause
It's
Bryce-
Bryce's cop car.
Yeah, Bryce is like, I wonder if anyone has used it since us. And she's like, I don't know. I haven't.
I thought they were going to have sex. In
I
it.
thought
I
so
know, I kinda
too.
thought
That's where it's
too.
going.
But I think that would have been a little too hopeful.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
thought they were going to, or at least like go sit on the hood or something like that. Like, I don't know what I
Right.
thought was going to happen,
That,
but
that'd been a good shot.
Yeah.
That'd been a good shot.
no,
too.
what was a
Hood.
really, really
Yeah.
good shot because we didn't actually think they were going to show the car.
Because they were just standing.
Yeah, they were just standing there looking at it.
we
And then
just had it face on. to
yeah.
them.
And then like you see the weeds and there's actually like, I'd have to go back and look at it again. It might just be overgrown weeds even more, but it almost looks like these like white flowers.
Oh,
Like
yeah, I think
around
you're
the
right.
car,
Yeah, I think there
and
were
like you can
flowers and
see
stuff
them like
around it.
walking away, and it really
Another-
is a beautiful shot, and
Yeah.
just that blue car up against those white flowers. Like I love when cinematographers play with color on the screen.
They
I think
really
it's
utilized
so
the
fucking
field
cool.
really well, didn't they? For
Oh,
those
yeah.
shots, the
Oh,
field
yeah.
with the car. Yeah,
Right.
no, it was gorgeous.
They meet back up, right? Bryce and Clee meet back up. And,
Yep. In the
Bryce-
bunkhouse. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
bunkhouse.
Clee tells him that Jack is No
He's
long-
gonna
yeah.
go stay with friends to try to get well or something like that. I think.
Yep.
You know.
Mhm.
Oh, and they both. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead in the bunker. Yeah, he's just. They talk about how things aren't the way they remembered.
right.
You know.
He
And that's where
opened-
the
Yeah.
mosquito comment comes
Yeah.
in. and-
Bryce opens with, so she's not just married; she's got 2 kids.
Oh, I know.
And,
I
like,
love
you
Clee's
kinda-
reaction to that. He's just
Yeah.
like, oh.
He's like, oof.
Yeah.
he's like, it's funny, but it
Yeah.
hurts him too.
Like,
just to
oof,
hear it.
buddy, I'm sorry. It is very much like a bro moment. Like,
I
I'm
know,
sorry,
bro,
buddy.
Bro, I'm so sorry. He knew what that meant to him, and
So nothing. Yeah, everything's changed. So
yeah, everything's different.
changed what they thought. And it's kind of plays on what you was talking about the rose
Yeah.
tinted glasses. Like
Yeah,
you know,
it's
things
not
aren't
the way they
always,
remember.
It's not
it.
always so good to look back on things or
Right,
revisit
or to
things.
revisit.
Oh my
those.
God.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
thing that I did want to bring up was a line that I actually didn't even notice until Cindy reiterated it in the end, and it was going back to that field. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
But
Thank you.
Bryce makes a comment when they're at the tree and whatnot, and he says, you know, time doesn't stand still. And
And she
Cindy
recalls
brings
that
that
line.
back up. That's like, you know, I remember you saying something like time doesn't stand still for anyone.
Right.
And that to me was when I was like, that's the theme of the movie.
Yeah, it
Like
pretty much
time
was.
doesn't stand
'Cause he
still
was
for anyone.
apologizing for not keeping up with her, and she
Yeah.
just kind of was like, "I remember you saying that at the carving tree. We didn't
Yeah.
mention it, but there's a carving
Mhm.
tree that they had visited
Yep.
and left a bunch of initials on and stuff like that."
My grandparents, there's a tree out their house where like all the grandkids and the kids and the great grandkids, we all like carve our names in it. It's really
Oh
cool.
my God.
Yeah, it's
Aw.
like
That's
because
so
my
cute.
grandparents have like 40 or 50 acres, and there's like that tree that we go and like my mom took me out there when I was a kid and carved my initials into it. and my
Oh,
sister and
cool! So you can go
My,
back and
my
look
cousins
at that
have taken their
yourself.
kids out to it, and yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
life
See, I don't have
goals.
anything like that. Yeah.
Life
Well-
goals. We have a Bible that we all get to sign whenever we get married. So like when Ben and I get married, we'll get to sign our names in the Bible.
Aw.
Yeah.
Ben's looking at me right now like we're doing what now? Like it's fine. It's not
Yeah.
like Ready or Not. We're not going to kill you. It's okay. Um
But
And,
yeah, so it's the car also broke down
Yep,
too, right?
the
That's
car
something else
that
we-
Bryce
Mhm.
drove them in.
They
broke
call it
down while they
Bertha.
were-
Bertha,
Oh, they
yeah,
did
Bertha
break
the
down.
Beast.
Yep.
Yep.
And it breaks down. They can't get it to start. And Clee comes up and says, "How about we hitchhike?"
hitch home.
Yep.
And they laugh and trip each other and hitch home. And,
And
the
it's
last shot is
cute.
them walking down
It's
the
a,
road.
a
after
long,
they, like,
yeah, it's a static shot of them walking along. That
trip
song
each
is
other and fall
playing
down
that they like
so
to play.
hard.
Yeah.
They really do. They trip each other hard,
Everybody
man.
who I watched that movie with went, "Oh, ow!" Yeah.
Like,
Like,
ouchie.
oh, fuck.
And it's on gravel too. It's on fucking gravel. Like fuck, man.
Oh man.
But there we had that was going back.
Yeah.
The
There you have it.
1984
Very
coming of age.
Indie coming of
Drama.
age movie
It
drama.
is so cute.
Yeah.
Definitely,
cute
probably
movie.
a one-time pay attention.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really is a cute movie. I would definitely show this to like I don't know, like kids in school and just
Yeah,
be
I
like,
think you
look how
just-
cute it is.
I think you have
Life
to be-
lessons.
I think you have to be in the right. Well, we'll talk about that more, I guess, in the next
Claudia
segment.
Campbell?
Yeah, I was just
All
gonna
right,
say, I
let's
think you
talk
got to
about
be
the
all right.
quality
with this.
Of Going Back.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
Yeah, Going Back. This little slice of life movie. It's a movie. I mean, I'm very indifferent toward this movie. I don't know. Like, I wanted to like it more than I actually did, I think.
Right.
If that makes sense. Because I like what it's trying to say. I like what it's trying to do. I just don't feel like it really, Ron Teachwood was able to accomplish exactly what he set out to make. But I do really enjoy like the idea and the ideals it's trying to convey.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel like the movie itself was able to convey it as well as it could have.
Right. Yeah.
Because I love movies like this. You know, like one of my favorite movies of all time is Good Will Hunting. It's just a simple movie with
it's
after
dialogue
you watch it,
and human interaction and stuff like that.
Feel something after it. Like I like movies like this.
Yeah,
you know?
but you know what you said about Good Will Hunting, it's like they kind of do the dialogue a lot better in that. Like we were talking about, you know, how ham-fisted things were a little bit
much better
like
in Good Will Hunting,
and
levels above this, because this is like, you know, Gus Van Sant. I mean, he's like a real filmmaker, so like he knows how to like make a movie. And unfortunately, Ron Teachwood didn't really have the and you know, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, they know how to write. So I mean, there's a lot more
and he's not
going for Good Will Hunting than
and he's not a film student. He's not this isn't a filmmaker making a film. This is
this is an artist.
Yeah, he's an artist. He doesn't know. Yeah, he doesn't write stuff. He doesn't, you know. Well, I guess he's since written things. Actually, he has written a few things since then. He doesn't have a whole lot of writing credits, and they're not all movies. But yeah, the dialogue was a little on the nose about things and pretty. Well, what it was expository. It was a lot of expository.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna watch this movie, know that it's gonna be one of those talk fest kind of movies. It's people sitting down and talking about things with each other.
They're sitting down talking, or they're walking and talking.
And they're explaining it very concisely.
They're telling stories of interesting things that have happened, rather than showing it to you. They're just telling it. And
this is the opposite of show don't tell. This is tell don't show, and for budgetary reasons, I'm sure. And, you know, I have seen movies like this. I don't actually care for these kind of movies, but, you know, they tend to be lauded. You know what I mean? People really like, you know, there's people that like him and people, you know.
Now you mentioned you had like an existential crisis. Was it because of this movie?
Oh yeah, no, it was talking about this movie. It got me thinking about like my past. You know what I mean? Like that's because that at the end of the day is very obviously what Going Back is about. It was about that second part of the movie where they go back to this time. They just wanted us to experience it the way that they experienced it. They go back and they see that it's not what they thought it was, or has no longer remained what they think it was, you know? And it's like that's an extremely relatable feeling.
I thought it was because you had a Jack somewhere in your life that you didn't write and get a hold of, and you lost your Jack forever.
Probably like teachers and stuff like that, you know, like the mentor types that you kind of run into, but not like, no old man shitting on a toilet and teaching me how to do the plumbing or anything like that. So I just started having a conversation about like past things and stuff like that, and what you hang on to and what you don't and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's fine. So
it's fine. It's fine.
No, as soon as they jumped forward, I saw that what they were doing, and I was like, God damn it, that actually is a really clever move. You know what I mean? They spent the whole movie. This kind of storytelling is never going to make it big anywhere. You know what I mean? It's like the whole point was the second half of the movie. So that first part was a lot of honest filler, but still filler. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I totally spun out into an existential crisis. Went back to my college days, my high school days. And it's like, you go, because that's the relatable part. Like people that you've met, had experiences with before, and then either finding that they've not moved on, or if they have, you know, advanced in their lives and you've stayed still. Like you could kind of see both sides of the fence there, because Cindy basically stayed still, and Bryce had to see that and swallow that. I think that was probably the most depressing part for him.
That was interesting.
You know what I mean? Because he had moved on clearly, and he probably hoped the best for her at the end of the day. Or well, maybe not actually. He kind of thought she would stay still. Oh,
he was hoping that she was waiting for him.
Yeah,
seeing what, that was it.
That was it. You're right.
And I think it was interesting for them to do that rather than like, you know,
happy ending.
the cliche of ending being her, she's waiting, or like the end, like, you know, they're getting ready to leave, and then Cindy's like, "I'm coming with," whatever. Like they didn't do that shit.
Right.
And
No, they didn't.
It was very real. Like
Yeah.
at the end, it was
Yep.
like this is just how life works sometimes. Sometimes things don't always pan out the way you want.
Exactly.
People change and people move on, and you gotta kind of accept that sometimes. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I love what this movie had to say. I just wish it was done a lot better. But,
that's a great way of putting it. Like I love the way I love what it had to say, but it was kind of a boring movie.
Very much so.
Yeah, it was a very boring movie.
I was glad it's only an hour 15.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Like, I didn't hate it. I just did not enjoy it either.
Yeah.
Like I like the idea of what it was saying. When it said something, you didn't have to really interpret it. You're just like, yeah, that's an interesting plot.
Right.
Because you're just saying it. You're just like, here's what, my mom's a single parent. She has to take care of me and do what both parents do. It's like, well, yeah, it's what happens.
You don't have to rewatch this movie to understand anything deeper about it.
Right.
Yeah. It's all right there. It's all on its sleeve right there. Yeah. So, yeah.
I really liked it. This was actually closer to like the movies that I watched growing up with my dad.
Yeah?
Not so much that they were like boring or one note or anything like that.
No.
It was just the fact that they were dialogue heavy. Because like I said, like my dad and I, like we would watch like old time movies. Like the first horror movies I ever watched were the old black and white silent films that are very dialogue heavy and have very limited sets. So like this for me was literally, again, like going back and like watching some childhood movies from me. So that's why I really liked it.
Yeah.
Very, very dialogue heavy, very montagey heavy.
So many montages.
Very montage.
There were a lot of montages.
But and like the interesting thing was like the montages, but like with the same song.
Yeah,
it was
different parts of the same song.
Yeah.
That I can't remember the name of the composer.
It's like, hey buddy, can you see me there? It's a lot hitchhiking. The song's like hitchhiking.
It's a hitchhiking song.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. I thought it was really cool to see Bruce early on. He did a good job
doing some other like slapsticky, cheesy horror movie stuff.
Yeah. And already starting to improve in his acting. Like,
yes,
that's what impressed me the most about him is like I think he really enjoyed the movie. Like I said earlier, like it sounded like he had a really good time on set. And so I think he really wanted to try to match the themes that they were going for,
Right.
I think this pushed him into like learning how to be subtle with his acting, because there were scenes where it was just on him, but he didn't have anything to say. It was just what he was listening to that he had to go off of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like he had to react instead of actually verbally say anything, like facial reactions.
Yeah, it was subtle stuff for him. I was impressed. I didn't realize he got subtle that early on, because I remember Bubba Hotep really impressed me for that reason, but I didn't. Yeah. That was much later in his career. So it was neat to see some of that early on.
I guess now we can talk about the quality of Campbell.
Oh yeah.
The reason we're all here, we said what we wanted to say about going back.
Yep.
But now we're going to talk about the man, the star,
the man, the
Bruce
chin,
Campbell.
the legend,
the man, the chin, the legend, the king himself, Bruce Campbell, aka Bryce.
Yeah.
Chapman.
Bryce Chapman.
Bryce Chapman. I almost wonder if they named him Bryce because.
Just Bruce.
That was my first fucking thought.
We'll change it to Bryce. Yeah.
It's literally my first thought.
That's a very indie movie thing to do too.
I know.
Eric has Eric. You know what I mean? That's very indie movie thing.
I mean, listen, we had all J's and A's when we did our indie film. Do we really have time to talk? Like, do we have any room?
No,
I mean, we didn't write it.
Because this movie is like completed. So
that's true. That's
true. Which
maybe one day we can talk, but as of now, we have no room.
Oh my god.
Oh, so the quality of Campbell, Bruce Campbell. What do you think, Eric? What do you think of Bryce?
I'm going to give it a groovy. I think this was actually like where he did kind of get a little bit of goofing around time with that song and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And climbing around on trees. And so he got a little bit of that. It was no, obviously coming off of the Evil Dead. Like it was nothing to sneeze at, but he was starting to get his groove here. Starting to give it a groove.
Starting to get his groove.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna give it a groovy. I kind of want to give it a not groovy,
But we're
But-
rating the Bruce, not the movie.
We're making and that's why you got to look past sometimes.
Yeah.
And Bruce did do his part in this.
Yeah.
I mean, he played Bryce very well. I liked at the end. The second half of the movie is like where I think it saved part for me, because like you get to see like how everything's not a fairy tale, and these things don't work out, and these guys just kind of deal with it. They just kind of deal with the way life is, and I think that was interesting. And Bruce did a very good job of conveying his heartbreak and that melancholy he had toward like where his life is where his life turned out to be, and the relationships he had hoped for didn't turn out the way he wanted them to.
Yeah, this is
he did a very good job of conveying
that
or
whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna give it a groovy.
Right.
It gets a groovy.
All right, Bailey, what do you think?
It's gonna be a groovy from me.
Ooh.
So yeah, another certified groovy. So I really liked it. I thought I said very bluntly, I think honestly, I knew in the last one, maybe in the one before that I really wanted to see Bruce do a different note, because I had seen him as like this comedic horror movie actiony actor character for so long that I was like, I know you can do it. I want to see you do something different. And I got to see him do a little something different very early on in his career. I thought he did it really well. Yeah. He's definitely a ladies' man. He will always be a ladies' man.
I know, like even in this movie, he was. You're right.
Yep.
No, that's a great point, though. It is really refreshing to see something outside of his typical mold. At least.
Yeah. So I thought he did a really good job. I think he did a really good job with the reactions and kind of realizing that he's not going to get his Cindy in a white cotton dress running up to him, spinning in a hug.
Right. Carting her off to their broken down car.
That's not going to happen. So like I thought it was good. I really liked it. I thought his performance was good. I really enjoyed the movie. I don't know if I'm going to add it to my movie watch list, but I'm definitely going to keep it in the back of my noggin.
Yeah, like I know the people I'd recommend it to, and I definitely know the people that I wouldn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got to be watching this movie for the subtext of the nostalgia. Not even subtext. I can't say that. You're right. It's way too on the nose for that. But for the message that it's trying to convey. Because it does, at the end of the day, I think, give you the feeling that the director wanted.
Yeah. And it took me back. It gave me some nostalgia, with the movies that I used to watch with my dad.
Yeah.
And, Yeah. It was for me. I really liked the movie. I really liked it. I know it's really dialogue and monologue heavy, but I still really liked it. And I thought Bruce was good in it. I was very pleased to see a polka dot boxered Bruce.
Oh my gosh, we didn't talk about that. Him getting in the bunkhead with those boxers,
and he's got his ass.
Just know we get a good look at his polka dotted butt.
His pokey butt. I was like, "There's a Bruce booty there. There's a Bruce booty."
Yeah. Bruce added his broken down car to the place where people just pass through.
Yep.
Maybe someday somebody will be boning in that car.
Maybe.
And they'll name their kid Bryce.
They might. Yeah, just kind of instinctually.
So there we have it.
There we go. It's a certified groovy.
Certified groovy.
Yeah.
Man, certified groovies are like dominating this year so far. I don't know when this movie comes out, but I'm sure we'll have a lot more certified groovies around it, because it seems like we're getting a lot of those this year.
Yeah. We're on a good streak.
We are on a good streak. So yeah, going back, Bruce Campbell, 1984, his second feature film, certified groovy, and it's something I would suggest. On Amazon Prime, you can rent it for $1.99. I would definitely suggest spending $1.99 if you really want to watch it. It's not gonna be a waste of money by any means, but just give it a watch. I think it's pretty decent movie to sit down for an hour 15 minutes to watch sometime. Like a lazy Sunday or something like that. It makes sense.
It's a good family movie. It's a really good family movie.
You can watch it with the fam. There's nothing, no crass language or explicit sexual stuff in it. It's pretty
family
tame.
friendly.
You see a couple kisses is about it. You see a few kisses. That's about it.
You see an old man shitting.
Yep.
Which even then, it looks like his pants are pulled all the way up. So
That's
like you don't.
I was like, he's clearly just sitting on this thing.
He's not.
His pants down.
He's just chilling. He needed some time away from these kids, and one of them came out and sat next to him. He's like, "Man, this guy's
like,
really
fuck you."
Sitting here talking to me while I'm taking a shit. I can't get away from him for
Like, I came out here for some damn peace.
Which yeah.
So yeah, super G-rated. Watch it with the kiddos.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the
Although
few
it
Bruce
won't
movies you
engage
can do
them
that.
really. I don't think it'll engage
No, I
your
don't
kids.
think
It's
so.
just safe
Oh,
to
probably
watch
not.
around them.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But so there we have it, guys. That was Going Back. Amazon Prime. You can find it for $1.99 to rent. Check it out. Certified Groovy by the Call to Campbell.
Whoop.
Make sure you guys follow us on our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube,
Yep.
TikTok at Cult Talk Net. Find us there on everything. We will be having Call to Campbell every other Monday here on the Cult Talk Network.
Yeah.
And every other Wednesday, you can catch Cult Talk Weird Shit for the time being. Every first and third Thursday or Friday.
Yes.
You can catch Cult of Lore, and
Cult
that is
of
YouTube
Lore.
exclusive to youtube.com/culttalknet.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot more stuff coming out this year from the Cult Talk Net crew. A lot more shows, a lot more content. Make sure you keep an eye out for everything. So we're constantly dropping stuff. So
By this time, we should actually be. By the time this releases, I mean, we should be in the preparations for a new podcast by yours truly.
Ooh.
We should be in the process of it.
Should,
So
yes.
we'll keep that a surprise
Please
and less
stand
promos.
by.
Please
Teaser.
stand by.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's the first teaser for that one.
I know.
There we go. Teasing them.
Tease.
All right, guys. Hope you guys had fun listening to us talk about Going Back. And if you want, check it out. Amazon Prime, $1.99. It's not a bad way to spend $2 or an hour, 15 minutes. So until next time, I think just make sure you guys remember, stay
groovy. Boom.
Hail to the king, baby. That's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.